At a luxurious resort where golden chandeliers gleam in the evening light, powerful black businessman James Carter faces cold disdain from a hotel that promises top-tier service, but not for him. After the humiliations, he returns as the new owner, leaving a response to the insults that will be talked about for years. In the heart of a bustling city, a grand resort hotel stands out, known for its lavish design and top-tier service. The lobby glows in evening light, adorned with marble floors, sculpted reliefs, and chandeliers casting warm light onto white columns. Into this elegant space strides James Carter, exuding confidence and dignity. Tall and commanding, his impeccably tailored suit and expensive watch speak to his success. As James approaches the reception desk, he meets Karen, the middle-aged receptionist. She regards him with a chill and slight grimace, assessing him with a long, judgmental stare that disregards his refined appearance. "Good evening. I'd like to book a room," James says politely. After a pause, Karen replies with a forced smile. "I'm sorry, but our hotel maintains high standards for our guests. Perhaps you'd prefer something simpler," her tone cold, revealing internal scorn. James, stunned by her reaction, attempts to clarify. "Perhaps there's been a misunderstanding. I'm willing to pay any rate required for a room." Karen's expression only becomes more condescending, her lips pursing slightly. Around them, other guests begin to take notice, casting surprised and perhaps sympathetic glances. Karen responds coldly. "You have to understand, we have certain standards for our clients. Unfortunately, some guests—" She pauses, giving James a pointed look. "Just don't quite meet those standards." James feels a surge of indignation at her words. Accustomed to respect and recognition, he now faces an unexpected reminder of the racial bias he thought he'd overcome. Taking a deep breath, he turns and exits the lobby, leaving Karen and onlookers in an uncomfortable silence. Just outside the hotel, he reflects with a heavy ache that his success, status, and hard work aren't always enough to shield him from deeply rooted prejudice. A few weeks after the incident, tension fills the hotel as rumors of a sale and a mysterious buyer swirl. Employees buzz with speculation, fearing strict new policies, especially Karen, the receptionist at the center of the scandal. Her confidence shaken, she worries about her job. On the day of the staff meeting, everyone gathers in a large conference room with panoramic city views. The manager announces that the hotel has changed ownership, and the new owner will meet the staff that day. Anxiety ripples through the crowd, especially for Karen, who recalls dismissing James without knowing his identity. The conference room door opens, and a familiar figure enters. It's James Carter. He strides in confidently, his gaze briefly resting on Karen, a hint of irony in his eyes. Without mentioning the past incident, James introduces himself as the new owner. "My name is James Carter, and I intend to make this hotel a model of professionalism, where every guest is respected, regardless of appearance." Karen, frozen with dread, avoids his gaze. She realizes the consequences of her past arrogance as James outlines expectations of respect and tolerance, setting a new standard for customer service. Karen's hands tighten as she recognizes that James seeks not vengeance, but professionalism. She understands she'll have to live with the results of her actions and uphold his vision for the hotel. With James Carter's arrival, the hotel undergoes swift transformation. His policies and new standards start to permeate every aspect of the hotel's operations. In meetings organized by James, employees learn that the hotel is not just becoming a place of elite service, but also a symbol of cultural awareness, respect, and equality for all guests, no matter their status, background, or appearance. For many, these changes bring relief and inspiration, but Karen, accustomed to treating clients according to rank, views the changes with caution and a hint of mistrust. One of James's methods is regular training sessions for the entire staff. These sessions focus on cultural awareness, understanding diverse guest needs, and responding to all requests with respect and professionalism. James himself frequently leads the sessions, inviting experts who help the staff deepen their understanding of diversity and its importance. During one such session, he addresses the team directly. Every guest who walks through our doors should feel welcome. It's our duty to ensure no one feels unworthy of being here, James says firmly, looking around the room. His gaze briefly rests on Karen. This is not just about high service standards. It's about basic human respect. Karen listens, feeling his words resonate within her. Her mixed emotions grow stronger. On the one hand, she understands the importance of what he's saying, and on the other, she struggles to part with her old views, which she's held on to for years. She sees these trainings as constant reminders of her past mistakes and as a test of her patience. Yet James doesn't dwell on her past mistakes or mention the incident. Instead, he, to her surprise, gives her a chance to redeem herself, occasionally assigning her significant tasks and entrusting her with coordinating work in challenging areas. Karen, feeling his trust and patience, gradually realizes that James genuinely believes she can change. Each day, Karen observes James working closely with the staff, checking details, listening attentively to their questions and suggestions, setting an example of tolerance and professionalism. She can't help but admire his composure and dignity. James doesn't just issue orders, he lives by what he teaches, and this both impresses her and creates an inner conflict. Her desire to improve grows, but her fears and old prejudices make it hard to fully embrace the new rules. However, the opportunity James gives her gradually pushes her to rethink her views. Through her interactions with him and her observations of his attitude toward each employee and guest, Karen feels her own biases and stereotypes beginning to crumble. She realizes that the world she's known, where appearances and status define everything, is becoming irrelevant in James's presence. And although the changes don't come easily, Karen starts to sense that this is more than a job. It's a chance to adopt new principles and become a better person. Several months later, the visible changes within the hotel had not only pleasantly surprised the staff, but also become a true hallmark for guests. The hotel had gained a new reputation as a place where every guest, regardless of appearance, status, or background, felt valued and respected. Reviews were filled with words of gratitude for the attentive and respectful service, and many regular patrons noted that the establishment now held a special warmth and authenticity. For James, this was confirmation that his efforts had not been in vain. One of the most rewarding surprises was the change in Karen's behavior. She became more attentive to each guest, and her manner of interaction had noticeably improved. The disdainful looks and forced smiles were gone. Karen began to show genuine respect toward visitors and colleagues alike, and James, noticing her progress, decided it was time for a personal conversation. He invited her to his office, and feeling a slight tension, Karen entered, a little nervous. James greeted her with a calm but warm smile and invited her to sit down. "Karen, I'd like to talk with you about your progress," he began. "I've noticed that you're genuinely working on changing your attitude, and I'm very pleased to see such results." Karen lowered her gaze, feeling a long-suppressed emotion rise within her. She realized this was her chance to express everything that had built up over these months. Taking a deep breath, she quietly but confidently began. "James, I need to confess. When you first came to the hotel, I saw the changes you brought as something that would disrupt my familiar world. I was prejudiced and unfair. I used to judge people based on my biases, thinking that appearance and status said it all. But your patience, your calmness, and the second chance you gave me helped me realize how wrong I was." She paused, searching for the right words, and finally added, "Thank you for that chance, for your patience, and for not seeking revenge but allowing me to change." James smiled, listening attentively to her confession. He could see that her words were sincere and heartfelt. "Karen," he replied, "I didn't give you a second chance to prove anything personally to you, but to change the larger picture, to correct the unfairness that unfortunately many people still face. I believe that everyone deserves the chance to change and recognize their mistakes. Your desire to do this speaks volumes about you, far more than your past beliefs." Karen felt her heart lighten, filling with gratitude and relief. She understood that this conversation was essential for her, to forgive herself and let go of her guilt. Controlling her emotions, she looked up again and, taking a deep breath, said, "James, I sincerely apologize for being unfair to you that evening. Now I realize how superficial my judgments were. Thank you for not holding a grudge and for showing me that there are more important things." James nodded, accepting her apology, and they exchanged a warm look. In this exchange, there was no trace of old grievances, only understanding and mutual respect. Karen left his office with a light heart, realizing that her former misconceptions had merely been part of her journey toward genuine understanding and respect. Now, she didn't just recognize James as her superior, but as a dignified individual who had helped her see the world differently and become a better person.